And good morning and welcome to our prenatal yoga practice. Just want to remind you that you need something to work on. So I recommend a mat or a large towel. I have a bolster, a firm cushion. It can be like even a couch cushion if you don't have one of those. Lots of blankets, something to drink, and maybe some crackers or some fruit to eat in case you get hungry. So let's just start by finding a comfortable seat. I just want to demonstrate to you a couple options you have. One is to sit like I am. You can sit with one ankle in front of the other. But if you are having any sort of pubic symphysis pain or hip pain or knee pain, this may not feel comfortable. So then you can take either like your blocks. My blocks are somewhere in the room, somewhere in the house, I don't know where, but you can take a firm cushion, place it between your feet and sit back on it, just kind of straddling it. And this is great because it gives you lots of space. It gives you some lift, but you're also getting a nice stretch in the top of your thighs. So just find a position that feels good for you and we'll begin. So sitting comfortably, lift and lengthen your spine. Let's roll the shoulders open a couple times just to, again, bring some awareness into the body, some attention to the body, and maybe even a little energy into the shoulders if you're just waking up like I am. And then just let the shoulders remain open and soft on your back. You can rest your hands on top of your knees. And if it feels comfortable to do so, softly close your eyes. So let's just take a long, slow, deep breath in together. Open the mouth and sigh the breath out. Let's do that again. Deep breath in. And then softly sealing your lips. Just breathing in and out through your nose. Allowing each breath to become a little bigger and a little fuller than the breath before. Lengthening your spine and just checking in with yourself. So we always take the first few minutes of our class live to check in with everyone who's present. And then we can also do this kind of inner check-in with ourselves, where we just sense what's happening in our body. So just noticing the quality and quantity of energy in the body. And just noticing how you're feeling. Do you feel happy or sad or tired? Just noticing the emotions that might be present and alive for you. You can also notice if you're hungry or thirsty. And if that's the case, just drinking a little something or eating a little something to keep your blood sugar level. And also just noticing any sensations in the body, maybe feeling your baby wide awake and moving. You may be feeling different sensations in the body as your body is growing and accommodating this life that's inside of you. And so just inviting you to not only take this time to check in with yourself during our practice, but throughout your day, just checking in, making sure that whatever you need, if you're able to provide that for yourself in the morning, in the moment that you are. And then sometimes we need to reach out and ask others for a little help, a little support. So maybe ask someone to bring you a glass of water or a cup of tea. Maybe asking family or friends if they can maybe, I don't know, wash dishes for you, put dishes in the dishwasher. If you have older kids or nieces or nephews, maybe they can do a load of laundry for you, right? So just thinking of the ways that we can check in and then to reach out. So it's both inward and outward. And so by quieting down, especially during our yoga practice, we're able to do that a little bit better. And so maintaining that sense of awareness, let's just gently join the hands together in front of the heart and we'll chant 3 ohms together. It's always optional, you don't have to. But Om is considered a vibrational sound that is resonating through everything in the universe. And I like the sound of Om because it has mom in it, right? It has that sound. So if you are a new mom or if you have a few little ones who are in your life, they already call you mom, it's a sound that you will get used to. So let's exhale completely and inhale generously for Om. Releasing the hands. Allow your eyes to open softly, adjusting to the light in the room. And let's just begin again by just moving the shoulders. And this time we're going to place the hands on top of the shoulders and circle the shoulders up, back, down, and forward. So opening the chest. And so each time you bring your elbows in front of the chest, try to bring them in close to each other. And then when you open them out, try to open them really wide apart. So when we're pregnant, your mammary glands are getting ready. They're preparing for the birth of your baby. And all that breast tissue tends to get really heavy. The breasts get heavy, your belly is heavy, the front of the body gets really, really heavy. And what can happen is that we experience postural problems. So maybe back pain. I had excruciating middle back pain once my daughter was born and I had to carry her in my arms as a 8-pound, 12-ounce baby. So just thinking about how can we create more lift and opening in the front of the body, in the chest, and then how can we strengthen the back? So that's what we'll work on a little bit today, but it will be a complete yoga practice. We won't just do chest and back. So when you're ready, let's inhale and exhale. Release those arms down. Inhale, reach and lengthen the right arm up and overhead. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale, reach and lengthen left arm up and overhead. And release. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Once more to each side. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale both arms up. As you exhale, set your hands down outside of your hips. Bring your right hand to rest on top of your right knee. Your left hand you'll bring behind you. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine tall. And as you exhale, slowly begin to rotate your chest and your shoulder to the left. Your belly will still kind of face forward, so it's not a twist that we would do in a typical hatha yoga class, the prenatal yoga twist, right? So we don't want to twist the belly, but we do want to open again across the chest. If this feels comfortable, you can also turn your head, if that feels okay in your neck, to look over the left shoulder. And you can even bring that right hand over towards the left knee to complete the twist. But again, keep the chest open, keep your shoulders back, and a little space between your chin and chest. One more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, turn to face forward. We can reach both arms up to the sky. And exhale, release. Good. So we inhale, lengthen the spine, bring your left hand on top of your left knee, your right hand behind the hip. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine first. As you exhale, slowly open your chest and shoulder, just opening to the right. Maybe turning the head if that feels okay. And maybe bringing that left hand over to your right knee. So again, just working with your body's comfort levels, right? So never forcing, never straining. One more breath in, one more breath out. Inhale, reach both arms straight up to the sky, and exhale, release. Good. Let's bring the arms up, make cactus or goalposts with the arms. We're gonna take a deep breath in and open the chest. And as you exhale, press the palms and elbows together. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, open wide. And exhale, press. 3 more times. So big stretch across the chest. Good. Big stretch across the upper back. 2 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Last time. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Nice work. Let's interlace those fingers, bring the elbows together and circle the wrists. So we just let the forearms slide one on top of the other. And reverse circle in the opposite direction. Good. And then just coming into a good place to stop, we shake all of that out. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Good. And let's come on to hands and knees. So like I said, I recommend having blankets nearby. If you're practicing on a hardwood floor or hard surface, like tile, definitely want to have something underneath your knees. I have a rug and my mat, but I'm still gonna open up a blanket for my knees. If your wrist feels sensitive, you can come onto your fists, that's an option, or you can slide your hands slightly forward to take some of the pressure off. So let's just practice a few rounds of the cat stretch. So we take a deep breath in neutral, just hugging baby in towards us. And exhale, round your spine. Bring your chin in towards your chest and tuck your tailbone underneath you. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, round your spine. Do that again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, big breath, and exhale it all out. Good. Let's take that movement and reach back with the hips and lengthen forward. Reach back, let the back round, almost like you're moving into child's pose, but not quite. So just getting a lovely stretch along the spine. And beginning to stretch the hips, and just noticing what sensations you feel in your hips. Exhaling as you reach back. Good. So just breathing deeply, moving at a pace and at a rate that feels good for you. And let's take this forward and back movement and begin to just wag our tails from side to side. And you can look over the opposite shoulder. So as your hips go to the right, you look to the left and vice versa. Good. And so just getting a stretch along the side of your waist. And let's take this side to side movement and make some hip circles. So feel free to open your knees as much as you'd like. So circling, you can make it as big as you'd like or as small as you'd like. You can bend the elbows, drop the head, and just let it be loose and fluid. And let's reverse and circle in the opposite direction. Good. And let's come into stillness, into center. Reach your left leg back. And this is a really great stretch. I think we probably pretty much do it in every prenatal yoga class. Your left toes are curled under. You're just going to press the heel back and rock forward. I like to turn this into a little bit of a forearm stretch too, so you can have your hands in a little closer to you. That way, as you rock forward, you get to stretch the palms of your hands as well as the forearms. But again, if your wrists feel sensitive, don't do that. You can either be on fist or your hands forward, and you can even come down onto forearms if that feels best for you. So you have lots of options. So let's rock for 3, 2, and 1. Reach that left heel back, turn your left heel down onto the floor. You can sweep the lower right leg out, and let's open this left arm forward, up, and back. So again, opening the chest. Big breath in, big breath out. Maybe opening the mouth. So as you inhale, you open the mouth and exhale. Deep breath in. One more time. Let that left hand find the earth. Come off of that heel and step your foot forward just outside of your hand. Bring your left hand onto your left thigh and bring your right hand onto your hip. And so we're just going to play a little bit with the lunge. So in prenatal yoga, we always work with the feet like hip width distance apart, and your hips are wider because you're pregnant. Or you can even have your feet wider than hip width distance apart. So I have my left foot off of the mat. And so we're just going to reach the arms up, look up if that feels okay through the neck. And then as you exhale, we're going to reach the hands down, reach the hips back, and flex that left foot. Inhale, reach arms up, and exhale. So you can have fingertips on the floor. You can also have fingertips on the block, or if you have a chair or sofa nearby, if you need the support for balance. You also don't have to reach the arms up so high. You can cactus the arms if that feels best. And fold. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach back. Nice. Let's keep the hands here. Bend that left knee and just move however it feels good to move. So I'm kind of moving diagonally. So reaching my hips to the right and then reaching them towards the top left corner of my mat. So just opening the hip, but you can also make circles in your hip. Circle in one direction, circle in the opposite direction. And when you're ready, take a breath in and exhale, slide that left knee in alongside the right. And let's just kind of wag the tail a little bit, looking over the opposite shoulder. And then when you're ready, coming into center, let's reach and lengthen that right leg long behind us. And so again, if you bring the hands in closer to the body, you get a little bit more of a forearm stretch and a stretch in the palms. And we just breathe here. Remember, you can come on to forearms too if you'd like, if your arms and shoulders and hands start to fatigue. And we'll rock for 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Slide that right heel down onto the mat, and let's reach and lengthen that right arm forward, up, and back. Big stretch. Inhale. Good. Inhale. One more time. Nice. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, circle that hand all the way down. Come off of that right heel and step your right foot forward. So again, be as generous as you would like with the placement of that right foot. Right hand comes onto the thigh, left hand comes up. Nice. And so we just play here with our lunges, right? So we reach the arms up And make sure that you're hugging baby in towards you, right? So don't like poke your belly out to kind of create this sway back. Just hug baby in, reach arms up, lift and open the chest. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. Your hands either find the block, floor, stool, sofa. Good. Inhale, reach up. We rebend that knee. And exhale, lower everything down. Flex that right foot. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Good. And so we keep the hands wherever they are and bend into that right knee and move in the hips. So again, I'm moving at a diagonal. So towards the upper right corner of my mat, down towards the lower left corner of my mat. You can turn this into hip circles and circle in one direction and circle in the opposite direction. Good. And let's come into a good place to call center. Hands on the mat, right knee on the mat, and let that all go. So we can wag our tail, we can flex the spine, make some hip circles if that feels good. And then when you are ready, we're going to step the left foot forward. Left hand comes onto that thigh. Great place if you have a block or a sofa or a cushion to come up. So we're just going to curl those back toes under, press down, and come up to stand. Good. So if you were on a blanket or if there's something underneath you that would be unlevel for you to work on, just move it off to the side. And now we're standing. So let's find Tadasana and do a little pelvic floor work, right? So Tadasana is the Sanskrit word for mountain pose. So we want to bring our awareness to our feet, if you can see your feet. So maybe move your hips back if you can't see your feet. Make sure your toes are facing forward. It's very common as we advance in our pregnancy for, again, everything's growing and accommodating the baby. And sometimes we end up kind of like this, walking to create space in the hips. But this isn't really good support for your feet, your ankles, your knees, or your hips. So we want to try to have things in parallel, but you can open your feet as wide as you need to, and maybe even turning the toes in just a little bit and actively lifting that arch. So the arch support that you provide down here is going to support your knees, it's going to support the pelvic floor, it's going to support your hips. So we have nice long legs. Make sure you're not hyperextending through the knees. Hug your belly in, so pull baby in towards your spine, and bring a hand to your belly and a hand to your low back. So the muscles of the pelvic floor, it's not a floor, we just call it pelvic floor, but it's not a floor, it's actually layers of tissue, sheaths of tissue. And so along with supporting the weight of the uterus with your baby and the placenta, it also supports your bladder, it supports all of the reproductive organs, fallopian tubes, ovaries, the whole 9 yards are all being supported by all of these tendons and ligament tissue and muscle that is making up the pelvic cavity. So we want to strengthen those muscles, and a way we can do that is by kind of faking a cough, right? So like when you you're not supposed to cough during the time of corona, but that gives you an idea of the sensation that you're going for. When you felt yourself cough, there was that little upward movement. It's the same movement that you do if you're stopping the flow of urine, where you slightly feel that lifting and engagement of those muscles. So if you can think of pairing those two together, stopping the flow of urine and a little cough, and then you get most of those muscles, okay? So we're just gonna do that a few times. Sometimes it can be helpful to just create a little bit of a pelvic tilt as you do that movement. So we lengthen the tailbone and lift up, right? So from the pelvic floor and engaging the lower abdominals, and release. We lift up and release. So it's a super small movement. And why this is really important, when you are birthing your baby, your body knows what it's doing, right? So even if you didn't do this, you would still know how to birth your baby. But this is really important, especially in recovery, right? And even as women age, it's not untypical to experience incontinence, which means you can't control the flow of your urine, and then you end up needing some support, like those pads that older women sometimes have. So we can bring some awareness to those muscles, just like you would with biceps, just like you would with back muscles. We can help strengthen those muscles so that we have a nice, healthy pelvic floor and the organs of the pelvic floor. They get a nice blood supply when we do this movement too. Just a little contraction and a little release, a little contraction and a little release. And so while you're doing this, maybe feeling your ribs close in a little closer to each other. And this again can help with recovery. Some women experience diastasis, which is like a separation of the abdominal muscles in pregnancy and post-pregnancy. So we can create some body awareness around all of this very intricate musculature. It can help us, right? So that maybe you don't have to go to physical therapy or suffer any discomfort, right? So let's do 5 more. And this is something you could do when you're just like doing nothing, standing in line at the grocery store, at work, at home, washing dishes, in the shower. Let's do 1 more. Good, and release. And you can be super subtle about it so no one knows what you're doing. So let's let that go. Open the feet up. You can turn the toes out now, hands on the top of your hips, and let's circle the hips, and we'll let all of that go. So just make them as big as you'd like, as small as you'd like. And let's reverse and circle in the opposite direction. Good, and let's come into stillness, into center. So from here, I was thinking we'll do some stuff at the wall. We had a pretty vigorous and strenuous session on a couple of days ago. So we're gonna just kind of take it a little bit more mild today. So I'm going to move some things so that I have some space to use my wall here. Hopefully that's not plugged in, no. So just creating some space at your wall. If you have blocks nearby, feel free to use them. But you can also, use the sofa or a chair. If it doesn't have wheels, you can use that as well. And so we're going to move through just a series of standing poses at the wall. So I'm going to turn to the right. And I'm going to place my back foot, my foot that's closest to the wall. I'm going to place the pinky side edge of my foot at the wall. And I'm going to step my left foot far out, like pretty wide out. And then I'm going to turn those toes to face forward. So I have my back foot at the wall's edge, my front foot, the foot that was farthest away from the wall, really far out. I'm in warrior stance now. So you might want to just take a few bends in your knee just to make sure that your knee doesn't go past the ankle and that your knee is tracking in the same direction as your toes. Let's take this back hand and place it on the wall for support. And so as I bend my knee, I can kind of create some length and some space here. Again, kind of opening across the chest and reach my left arm forward and straighten and release. Let's do that a few times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Twice more. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale And exhale. Good. This time let's inhale, reach the arm forward, bend the knee up, and we'll reach and lengthen that left arm just up towards the sky. We're just opening through the side body. My back hand is firmly pressing into the wall to give me some support. Take a deep breath in and exhale, straighten the leg and release. Let's do that again. Inhale and exhale. And so bending the knee is always optional. If you're having any sort of like discomfort, round ligament pain or pelvic pain, feel free to keep the leg straight, right? Let's do 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Let's walk that front foot in. Bring your left hand to the wall. Press away from the wall. Find the number 7 with your body. Open your feet wider than hip width distance apart and wag your tails, or just let those hips move from side to side. As you press the arms and hands away, just finding some space along the spine and along the sides of the ribs. Let's take a breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Inhale, come back into center, walk the feet in towards the wall. And this time I'm going to turn to the left, placing the foot that's closest to the wall. I'm going to place the pinky side edge all along the wall side. And then I'm going to walk and lengthen my right foot out and turn it out so that I'm in warrior stance. Bring your hand that's closest to the wall onto the wall. And let's just begin to move into that right thigh. So bending the knee, straightening the leg. We can match it with that right arm, find a warrior 2. We're getting really strong and spacious. So the cool thing about the pressing into the wall is that it's not going anywhere. So you can really press into it, creating a little bit of resistance. You can feel that strengthening in your biceps and your shoulder, chest, and back. 1 more time. Good. This time, let's bend the knee and reach the arm straight up and release. And again, you don't have to bend the knee if you feel any sort of pain in the pelvis or hip or in the belly, right? You have the round ligaments that are supporting the weight of the baby, the belly, the uterus. Let's do that 2 more times. 1 more time. Good job. And release. Let's turn both toes to face to the left. Heel toe those feet in towards each other. Press the hands into the wall. And let's find that figure 7 stretch. Just kind of moving from side to side. Good. And then when you are ready, walk the feet back into the wall. Let's do a little balancing work. So we're going to turn to face the right. Have your back hand on the wall, so right hand's on the wall. I'm going to stand with my feet about hip width distance apart. Look forward. So try to keep the chin and nose parallel to the floor. You might want to walk like 1 forearm's length away from the wall. So you have the wall here for support, but you can stand up nice and tall on your own. Grounding down into both of your feet. Begin to lift your left heel from the floor and open the knee out. Rest your left foot, the sole of the foot, into your inner ankle or your inner calf. You can keep your backhand, your right hand at the wall, or you can slide it up and maybe match it with your left. And we find tree pose, Vrksasana. And maybe you play with moving that right hand from the wall for just a moment. Take 1 more breath in, 1 more breath out. Good. Replace the hand to the wall. Release and lengthen the left hand down. Bring the left knee in and release. Let's keep both hands up really high on the wall. You can open the arms and hands about shoulder width distance apart. Your feet are about maybe 4 to 6 inches from the wall, maybe more, depending on how big your belly is. And the idea here is that we're just kind of letting ourselves lengthen and find more extension in the spine. So just let the heart kind of melt in towards the wall, let the chest melt in towards the wall, the forehead melt in towards the wall, and feel that opening in your armpits. So that's where your latissimus dorsi muscles attach, those large muscles in the back. And so hopefully this feels really good. You can gently draw the tailbone down, hugging the baby in towards your body. Take one more breath. Exhale. Good. When you're ready, walk the hands in, press yourselves away. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So turn to the left. You're about a forearm's length away from the wall. Keep your chin and nose parallel to the floor. Grounding down into both of your feet. Let's pick up that right heel. Rest the sole of the right foot into your inner ankle or inner calf on that left leg. You can slide and lengthen that left arm up. Turn the palm open to face into the center of the room. You can match it with the right arm and hand. Maybe you lift the hands away from the wall. And just find balance. Relax your shoulders, deepen your breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and release. Nice work. Go ahead, bring your back onto the wall. Step away, but keep the back of the pelvis on the wall. And we're just gonna just rock a little bit. So you're just rocking along the back of the sacrum, right? The back of the pelvis. So you can kind of hinge forward if you want to get more into your glutes, if that feels good. You can kind of rest on a spot if you have some tenderness there. So you can make some circles and just kind of gyrate onto the wall. So it's just about, again, creating that sense of awareness, what's happening in the body, noticing places where you feel sensation, tenderness, soreness, tightness, and then just responding appropriately. Maybe just taking a deeper breath in and softening some tension in your body. Maybe it's about just taking a nice stretch or a walk. So you have lots of options. So keep moving here. I'm going to talk a little bit about squat. I always try to incorporate squat into every prenatal practice I do. I did it all throughout my pregnancy. It is a birthing position. It is a position that many people around the world are in on just a regular daily basis, right? To eat, wash clothes, you're at the river. So this is kind of like one of those basic kind of human positions, but most of us in America, we don't squat so much. So if you don't want to squat today, it's totally cool. And again, if you have hemorrhoids or any sort of pubic symphysis pain, don't do squat. If a doctor's told you that your placenta is partially covering the cervix, don't do squats. If you have any varicosities, like deep varicose veins or deep vein thrombosis, don't do squat. And if you don't want to do squat, don't do squat, right? So we kind of did some half squats when we were kneeling and we stepped a foot forward into a lunge, right? So you can do that. That's an option for you. Or you can stay up nice and high on the wall. If you're going to move into squat, you can place your blocks underneath you. So feel free to step away and get your blocks and put them at the wall, and or a big cushion, something to land on, right? And so once you're at the wall and you're preparing for your squat, we walk the feet out just a little bit wider, right? So they're wider than hip width distance apart. And I'm just letting my body walk down the wall. So it's super easy. The wall is, again, it's super strong. Give it all you got. I pressed into a wall for about 10 hours of birthing my daughter. So The wall was like my birthing partner. So let the wall support you. And then once you're low enough, maybe forearms can come down onto your thighs, and maybe any place between here and your blocks is a good place for you to be. So you have lots of options. So when you're ready, you just let the hands maybe find the floor. You can adjust your feet and come into your squat. I don't know where my blocks are, so that's why I'm not on a block right now. But again, just find a position that feels good for you. I recommend not doing what I'm doing, which is doing an unsupported squat at the wall. I don't have a birthing ball. I don't have a block. So you don't want to do this. It's a lot of work. There's a deep, deep bend on my knees, and I'm having to hold myself up right now. Not so much fun if you were pregnant and had the weight of the baby and everything else is going on. So I'm just gonna do this for right now, just for a few minutes. We're gonna be in our squat for about 60 seconds. That's the length of one active labor contraction. So I just wanna give you those kind of milestones in our practice also. So we're just breathing and just releasing, leaning back into the wall. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart, maybe close the eyes and take a few long, slow, deep breaths, just breathing. You can also let the arms and hands rest and just gently press into the inner knee to open the thighs a little bit more. So whatever feels good for you. Another 20 seconds. Good. So you can bring your hands either behind you or in front of you. You can rock yourselves forward. You can slide a foot back, but we're just going to come back onto hands and knees. And if you want to stand up, feel free. We can stand up, hands to thighs, hands on the piece of furniture. Maybe let that all go. You can rock in your hips, swaying from side to side. Good. And then standing up when you're ready, coming back over to your mat. Nice. And let's do some movement in the hips and just let that all go. So you can do some hip circles if you'd like. And just some deep breathing. Breathing in and out through the nose. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Ah, nice. So when you are ready, we're going to make our way back down onto our mats, preparing for our final asana. So let's just start by coming back into a seated position. So I'm going to take my blanket, place it back on my mat, and take a seat. Good. And we'll just do a couple more stretches before we kind of wrap up and wind down. So extend your right leg out to the side, to the right, letting your sole of your left foot rest inside the inner thigh. And you can open this leg out as much as you need to. You can also place a blanket or a pillow or a block underneath that left knee to support yourselves. Let's inhale, reach both arms up, a big stretch, good. And turn a little bit to the left, turn a little bit to the left, so away from that right leg. Let your left hand rest on top of your right leg and just reach and open through your left side body, just reaching that left arm upward and over to the right. And just breathing. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let that left hand land softly on the floor. So now we're in a forward fold. Belly's kind of in between your right leg and left leg. So just getting a little bit of a stretch. This is a modification of Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. So lots of space between my left foot and my right leg. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. Inhale, walk the hands in and lift up. Nice. Other side. So I'm going to support my left knee, bringing the knee in with my hand under the knee, sliding that leg over to the left. My right hand is underneath my right knee. I'm going to slide it in a little bit and place my blanket underneath my right knee. So that left leg is angled off to the left just a little bit. We inhale, reach both arms up, turn to the right, so turning away from your straight left leg. Let your left hand rest on top of your straight leg, and then grow a little taller first, and then begin to lengthen and reach over, reaching up and over. Space between the chin and chest. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. One more breath in, one more breath out. Good. Inhale here. As you exhale, we just turn to face in the same direction as the left leg. Hands are on the floor. Lots of space between your legs, just allowing the belly to have tons of space. No obstacles, no pressure from the legs or feet. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. Inhale, walk your hands in, lift up to sit tall. Keep your right knee as it is. Just bring your left hand underneath the left knee, guide that leg back in. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. If you have another blanket, you can place that underneath your knee. And if you have pubic pain, any sort of pubic symphysis discomfort, you can push the feet farther away from you. You can either even open the legs kind of asymmetrically, right? So just find a way that works for you, right? You can do one leg at a time like we just did if it doesn't feel good to have the soles of the feet together. Hands can rest lightly on top of your shins, and we just gently lift the chest. Good. Little space between the chin and chest. And this is Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So really lovely hip opener, stretch for the inner thigh, inner groin. Take a deep breath in and release. Bring the hands underneath both knees. Help your knees come back in towards each other and find a comfortable seat. So I'm going to rest one ankle in front of my shin. And we close our practice by forming a yoga mudra. We bring the hands behind the back and take hold of one wrist with the thumb and index finger. Take a deep breath in and lengthen the spine. Maybe close the eyes and bow the chin in towards the chest. We're just sealing in all of the benefits of today's practice. And then on your next inhale, just carefully releasing, lifting the head, releasing the hands. And so it's time for our final asana, Savasana. So we get to rest. So definitely you have a few kind of tricks and tips. So you get to choose whatever is your favorite position. I think today I will demonstrate perhaps, maybe I'll demonstrate for moms who are still comfortable on their backs, what you can do to still kind of be supported. So if you're comfortable on your back, you need at least 2 blankets. For moms who are farther along in pregnancy, you're not comfortable on your back, and actually like second trimester onward, it's not really recommended, but everybody's different. You listen to your body. You can elevate your legs. You can take a cushion or even like your birthing pillow, and put, any sort of device underneath you to keep yourselves lifted up. But what I'm going to show is for moms who are comfortable on your back and just finding a way to find a little bit of relief. So I always recommend having something under the neck and head. So I have a blanket for that purpose. So I'm just gonna make a little neck roll there, and then my head rests there. And then I'm gonna take another blanket and I'll stand up so you can see what I'm doing. And this blanket will be for my torso to rest on, and especially my hips. I'm just gonna give myself some extra padding. So this is for my torso, and then I'm going to fold it back to give myself a little extra support for my hips. Make sure that everything's kind of smooth out, that you don't have anything that's gonna like crinkle or like feel uncomfortable. And then I'll have my big cushion or my bolster for my knees. So just take a seat. Oh, when you're ready, coming down to rest. Ah, that feels really nice. You might need to reposition your bolster for your knees. And then you can just rest your hands, maybe hands on the belly, arms alongside you with a little space between the sides of the body and the arms and hands. And so just finding a position that feels good for you, that feels supportive for you. Again, moms who need that support of being upright, using your cushion to support you. You can even lean up against a birthing ball or any other pillow that you have, even your sofa. Feel free to lie back on the sofa if you like. And so we'll rest here for 3 minutes, and then I will sound the bowl. So try not to move for these 3 minutes. Try to be as still as you can, but I know sometimes we feel a little fidgety and you need to adjust. Feel free to do that also. But if we can kind of quiet the body, we quiet the nervous system, and we get to rest deeply. And that's what this is all about. So just let your body breathe itself and rest. Take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh the breath out. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, roll to your left side, rest there for a few moments before making your way to an upright seat and sitting in a way that feels comfortable and feels supportive for you. And we'll close our class as we often do, which is just again by just acknowledging what's present for you. Hopefully, you're feeling a little bit better in your bodies. And I know better is also a range, just like there's a range of experiences while you're pregnant. Sometimes it's a little incremental improvement can be significant enough. So just want to give you the space to just kind of check in with yourselves and to see how do you feel? Like what's present for you? And to also remind you to, don't be afraid to like speak up and ask. For so many women, especially women of color, Black women, we take on a lot. We take on a lot of family responsibilities. In addition to my daughter, I have my mom who lives close by, so I'm often running errands for her. And so there's a lot of like outward, right, support that we give for other people. And just want to remind you that it's okay to ask for support too. So with that, let's just make that request now. So we're sitting tall, kind of stepping into that place of deservedness and worthiness as we just reach and extend and open our hands as we close our eyes. And go within, just again, checking in with ourselves to see what areas within ourselves needs replenishment, needs nourishment. And maybe it's just a simple prayer to your higher power and just requesting whatever it is you need and expecting to receive it. And then also recognizing that within yourself, you have so much that has been gifted to you by all of your ancestors, those that you know and those that you don't know of. But there are so many people who are praying for you and believing in you and rooting for you right now. And you can lean into and trust into that support. Gently joining the hands together in front of the heart, we seal that in. We seal in all of that energy, those good intentions, those blessings, those prayers. And again, just expecting to receive. Bowing the head, chin to chest. Namaste.